So, a school to prison pipeline got more resuscitatory coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So I got more resuscitatory for y'all. Now, a school to prison pipeline is an example of fictitious notion. You know, again, a bunch of nonsense that black people believe that just simply not true. Now, the argument is that black kids are going into, the reason why we have mass incarceration is because, the school system is improperly educating the black kids. They complain about a failure of, how the lack of thereof of schools, and the schools aren't educating kids, or you hear them talk about the phrase, the miseducation, and then you have the good doctor who's been building the school for the last 10 years, that the problem is the lack of schools, even though that's not true. There's plenty of schools. The problem isn't the lack thereof of schools. Anyway, they say that the reason why you see mass incarceration of black people is because these inner city schools are not educating the children properly. They don't have the resources to do so. The people, no one cares about it. And as a result of this, these kids have no skills, and they inevitably go into a life of crime and end up in jail. Now, this is the argument that they make. Now, I always find this laughable because I was always told that, education is a pathway to prosperity. And, one would think if education really caused people to go to prison, our prison would be filled with the most educated blacks, or educated people in general. People with PhDs and master's degrees would be, our prison should be full of them if it's education. That's what makes it so laughable. But the truth of the matter is, the issue is not the schools. Even though a lot of these inner city schools may be failing and the kids not be learning, the problem isn't the schools. The problem is the lack thereof of funding. Again, if the people in the area with property taxes fund the school, then that would mean that the people in the area is not funding the school. So if you're going to cry about the lack of funding, that's on you. If you want to fund the schools, then pay more property taxes, I guess. Or go out and own something to pay property taxes. But you can't cry about schools not being funded when property taxes fund the school and you live in the area. That means you're not funding the schools. Well, I've seen many documentaries on these inner city schools. I've seen news reports and teachers speak, and I've seen many of these teachers speak, and not one of these teachers have ever said that the problem was because of the lack of funding. Okay, teachers don't quit teaching in inner city schools because of the lack of funding. There's one thing that you hear them speak on why they quit teaching in inner city schools, and that's just because these badass kids. Okay, these badass kids that these women keep raising, they send these badass kids to the school, and these badass kids cause nothing but disruption. The teachers have to be disciplinarians because the kids act out. They always want to, sit in the back of the class. They act out, fighting each other, causing disruption. The teacher has to be the disciplinarian. She has to be the counselor, right? She has to be the hall monitor, the security guard, and still have to turn around and try to teach the school. And you cannot teach your classroom if you keep having a disruption. These kids are the problem. These kids that these women keep raising by themselves, they are the reason why the kids aren't learning and why it's difficult for the teachers to teach and do their job. Again, teachers they say they stop quitting teaching in these schools is because they fear for their lives of these kids. If the kids fight the teachers, I saw a video of this sick guy who was like 6'2", black dude, just ran over there and trucked the teacher because she took his Nintendo Switch. Saw a video of a girl, and these appears to be definitely high school, pepper sprayed the teacher for some reason because she took her phone, which she's not supposed to be. She shouldn't be having a phone out in the classroom. This is the type of stuff that teachers have to deal with in inner city schools because of these badass kids that are being raised because of a badass culture. So there is no such thing as a school to prison pipeline, because I've never seen one school with a curriculum. The curriculum is Grand Theft Auto 101. Gang banging theory or something. That I've never seen that. The problem isn't the school. The problem is these kids and the bad culture that they live in and that they're being raised by after being raised by these single mothers, custody and housing projects. So there is no such thing as a school to prison pipeline. The problem is single parent households to prison pipeline. But they can't blame the single parent household, because then they would have to blame the black female. And somehow the black female just is blameless in society. And anytime you try to blame a black female for something, all of the white knight simps are going to put on their capes and come to the run for the forefront and try to defend them. This is not a school problem. This is a culture problem. This is a mentality problem that's always created by black females raising children in single parent households around Florida. So once again, there is no such thing as a school to prison pipeline. It's a single parent household to prison pipeline. So if you ever hear one of these race hustlers start crying about this school to prison pipeline, well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. And as always, y'all, until next time.